After 23 years, my husband said he needs multiple partners. He already kissed her. He refuses to stop. I don't know who I'm married to anymore. My husband of 23 years sat me down last month and told me he needs multiple partners to feel fulfilled. He said he'd reconnected with a woman from his past. He said they'd already kissed. He said he wasn't going to stop seeing her, and he wanted my permission to continue while staying married to me. I've been sitting in this house for 4 weeks trying to figure out who I've been sleeping next to for 2 decades. His name is Glenn. We got married when I was 25. We have 2 kids, both in college now. For 23 years, I thought we had a solid marriage. Not perfect. We argued about money and chores and all the normal things, but I trusted him completely. I never once questioned whether he was faithful. He never gave me a reason to. Then in January, he came home from a work conference and he was different, lighter, distracted. He smiled at his phone in a way he hadn't smiled at me in years. I asked who he was texting. He said an old friend named Renee. They'd reconnected at the conference. She lived in another state, but they'd been in the same industry for years and just happened to cross paths. I said, that's nice. I meant it. 2 weeks later, he sat me down after dinner. He said he'd been doing a lot of thinking about himself, about our marriage, about what he needed. He said he'd come to realize that monogamy didn't fully satisfy him, that he believed he was capable of loving more than one person, that he'd been reading about polyamory and it resonated with him on a deep level. I stared at him. Are you telling me you want to see other people? I'm telling you I think I already have feelings for Renee, and I don't want to hide that from you. You already have feelings for her. After 2 weeks, we've been talking every day. She understands parts of me that I've never been able to express. You've been married to me for 23 years and you've never mentioned needing multiple partners. I didn't know how to bring it up. Did you kiss her? He paused. At the conference, yes. Before or after you decided to tell me about polyamory? Before. So you kissed another woman, came home, and then framed it as a philosophical realization about your relationship needs. It wasn't like that. It's exactly like that. You cheated and then built a framework around it so it wouldn't sound like cheating. He got defensive. He said I was reducing something meaningful to something ugly. He said Renee wasn't a threat to our marriage. He said poly relationships require trust and communication, and he was trying to communicate. I said, communication would have been talking to me before you kissed someone else. What you did was cheat and then ask for retroactive permission. He said he couldn't promise to stop seeing Renee, that his connection with her was real, and that suppressing it would damage him psychologically. He used that word, psychologically. Like seeing another woman was a mental health necessity. I asked him to go to counseling with me. He agreed. We went twice. The counselor asked Glenn if he'd be comfortable with me seeing other men. He hesitated. He said, that's different. The counselor said, how? He couldn't answer. That moment told me everything. He didn't want an open marriage. He wanted permission to have an affair while I stayed faithful and available. The counselor saw it. I saw it. Glenn didn't or wouldn't. I told him after the second session that I couldn't agree to this, that I married one person and I expected one person in return. He said I was being closed-minded, that relationships evolve, that I was clinging to a traditional structure out of fear. I said, I'm not afraid of change. I'm afraid that my husband kissed another woman, refuses to stop seeing her, and is calling it personal growth. He's still talking to Renee. He texts her every morning. He calls her at night when he thinks I'm asleep. I hear him laughing softly in the kitchen at 11 p.m. the way he used to laugh with me. I haven't told the kids yet. I don't know what to say. Your father wants to date someone else and he thinks it's evolution? Your dad kissed a woman at a conference and now he's reading books about ethical non-monogamy? I've been looking at apartments, not because I've decided to leave, but because I need to know I can. I need to know there's a door. My friend Sheila asked me last week if I was okay. I said, my husband told me he needs multiple partners to feel psychologically whole. After 23 years and 2 kids and a mortgage and a life I thought we built together. She said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know yet, but I'm not going to agree to something that hurts me just because he found a vocabulary for it. Glenn left a book on the nightstand last week, something about ethical relationships. I moved it to the garage. I'm not reading his syllabus. I'm reading lease agreements. The house is quiet at night now except for his laughter in the kitchen. I lie in bed and listen to it and I think about the woman on the other end of that call. She gets the version of him that's excited and new. Get the version that asks for permission after the fact. 23 years, 2 kids, 1 kiss he didn't tell me about until he had a speech prepared. The book is still in the garage. The lease listings are still on my laptop. I haven't made a decision yet, but I'm closer every night he laughs in that kitchen and thinks I can't hear him.